Hello everybody, thank you for tuning into another video here with Dope First Mom. Again, thank you for all the likes, sharing, subscribing, everything that you all have done this far to support us at Dope First Moms. So in my last video, I shared that I will be talking about sleep training. A lot of people are probably like, what is sleep training? Because I know I did not know what sleep training was originally. I'm like, what is that? And then when it was explained to me, I was like, yes, sign us up. So I'm going to try to make this as short as possible because one, I don't have too much experience on it because my baby is not here yet, so I have not tried it out. But I just wanted to share what sleep training is and if we are going to do sleep training based off of what I have read and the different videos that I have watched and research that I have done as well. So sleep training, it's basically a schedule for your infant to be on for sleeping. It's to get them to sleep overnight through the night for 6, 7 plus 8 hours versus waking up every 2-3 hours to feed or soothe or do whatever that we have to do overnight. So, excuse me. And it's also, sleep training is also in place to show your child dependency, which I think is amazing. Babies are smart, infants are smart, and helping them develop in being independent at an early age, I think is like an amazing thing to start off with your child. So yes, excuse me, y'all, I'm so out of breath at this point in stage in my pregnancy. The sleep training is based off of your baby's feeding schedule, how often you feed them, and more importantly, are they getting the right amount of feedings per day. Some people think that every time your baby cries, that means that they're hungry or whatever. That is not what that means. Common sense is not always common. But common sense, and also in the book that I have read, shares that babies crying, that's their way of communicating. A baby could be too hot, a baby could be too cold, something could be poking the baby. Crying is just how the baby knows how to communicate to us. So every time that a baby cries does not mean that the baby is hungry. And a lot of parents or guardians, they make the mistake of, oh, he or she's crying, we either check diaper or we instantly want to feed the baby. And sometimes that's just not the case, you know? So we get baby in this habit that every time they cry, they're supposed to eat. So sleep training discusses that. Now, there is a difference if you will be sleep training, if you will be formula feeding your baby or breastfeeding your baby. For those of y'all who do not know, breast milk digests a lot faster than formula milk. So sleep training can sometimes be a little bit harder for us moms who are breastfeeding versus the ones who are formula feeding. So if you're breastfeeding and you plan on sleep training, just give yourself a little bit more patience, give your baby a little bit more patience, give it a little bit more time, because that breast milk is digesting faster than a formula fed baby. So it could take a minute to get them to sleep longer without wanting to eat. And once you do get your baby to sleep, for those breastfed moms, once you do get your baby to the moment where they can sleep overnight, just a reminder, you still will have moments where you will have to wake up and pump, because that's vital and important, but at least you're waking up pumping and then you're able to go back to sleep. You're not necessarily having to soothe the crying baby back to sleep. So that's one other thing to consider. Even if you do get your baby to sleep overnight, that pumping is still required. And also what I have learned through different testimonies in reading and also reading the book is that sometimes breastfed moms tend to wait a little bit while longer before starting sleep training, because I know that is another question. When do you start? So actually, this book is called The Newborn Sleep Book. I shared it in one of my previous videos that I just rented it from the library. Well, checked it out from the library. And yes, so here they literally start from newborn, week 1, that you bring your baby home. After reading the book, I thought that, okay, I'm gonna try that. And then after watching a few more testimonies and other videos, and then just kind of being realistic with myself, I was like, yeah, we're not gonna start off week 1. We're not gonna start off week 1. It's recommended there. I have seen some people that have started off at newborn stage, and the book also talks about starting off from week 1 as soon as you bring your baby home. I did not agree with some of the, well, not that I did not agree, I didn't like the method, because there's different methods to sleep training. There's about 6 different methods, which I'm gonna briefly go over. I didn't really like what they call the cry it out method. Basically, you don't let your child sit there and cry, but in a sense, that's kind of how it goes. And I don't really feel comfortable doing that with a newborn baby. Maybe 6 months, yeah, cry a little, and then mommy will come take care of you. But my newborn baby, I just, yeah. So, you have some people that start at newborn, some people start between the months of 2 and 3, and some people that start between the months of 3 and 4. It's totally up to you. I personally believe that months 2 and 3 is pretty good. 2.5 going into 3, especially for those moms that will be returning back to work. You know, I think it's important to get your baby on a schedule before you leave, and you start leaving them under the guidance under someone else. And then you just, I feel like that's a good point in pace and time. You've learned your baby has learned you. You all have definitely bonded at this point, developed this relationship, and I think it's okay to start, you know, putting some steps into place with the sleep training. So like I said, there's 6 different methods for sleep training that I'm just going to briefly go over. I'm not going to get into detail on them, but you have the controversial one that a lot of people tend to blurt out, which is the cry it out method. And basically how that goes is that, well, regardless, you have to set a bedtime for your baby. Every day we're laying little JoJo, little Sarah, we're laying them down to sleep at this time. So say you said you're gonna lay Sarah down at 8 p.m. every night. So you lay her down and she cries, and basically you don't pick her up. You don't hold her, you don't rock her, you definitely don't feed her. You kind of just go in and you soothe her. Well, one, you let her cry. There's this book, I believe, that I'm reading did 15-20 minutes. You let the baby cry for about not 20, 10 to 15 minutes. And then you go in there and you check on the baby, you soothe the baby, and you try to get them to stop crying without picking them up. And well, let me go back to this book really fast. So this book, the newborn sleep book, it instructs you on feeding your baby throughout the day before bedtime. Their sleep training methods are no feedings overnight. They state that the baby should get 2.2 ounces per how many ever pounds that they weigh. So if they weigh 8 pounds, 8 times 2.2, that's about roughly like 16, 17, 18 ounces of milk or whatever. So your baby should be eating that amount or consuming that amount of milk per day within the daytime feeding, so that overnight they're not waking up hungry. And these are 2 pediatricians that wrote this book. So some of the things I do value what they say, and some of them I just don't. That's just my opinion, I just don't. So that is the cry it out method. You you're letting your child self-soothe themselves with their crying. I keep looking at her bassinet because it's like, I don't think I could just let my baby girl cry. So, not as a newborn. So, cry it out is one of the methods. And a lot of people are like, how could you dare let your child just lay there and cry and not pick them up and things of that sort. And I agree to a certain extent. Like I said, I definitely agree. At a newborn, I just could not see myself doing that. 3-4 months down the line, I still see myself soothing my child if she's crying. I would definitely, have to develop some of the habits of not the first instinct of wanting to pick her up, but whether you're just, doing this, reassuring mommy's here. Those are some of the methods and techniques that they talk about. So you have the cry out method. You have the chair method, which is where, you're rocking your baby to sleep. And all of these methods require that, one, you have a set, like I said, you have a set bedtime, okay? 2, when you're laying your baby down to sleep, your baby is not fully asleep. They're just drowsy. You could tell that a couple of strokes or hymns, singing, songs, whatever, will eventually put them to sleep. So you want them to kind of fall asleep on their own, not put them to sleep and then lay them down. That's the goal, and then being consistent with it as well. So the chair method is where you're holding your baby, you're soothing your baby. They've reached that drowsy point where the lids are like and then it's like you lay your baby down. You lay your baby down, you're sitting there until your baby falls asleep. If there's a moment where your baby wakes up and starts crying, you're there beside your baby. You don't pick your baby up, but you just sit there beside your baby. You talk to your baby, help soothe your baby to help get them back to sleep. So that is the chair method. And then you have the fever method. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's actually named after a pediatrician. So this one involves putting your baby in the crib drowsy but awake, and then waiting several minutes before going to tend to them if your baby cries. So the first time is 3 minutes, and the next time is 5 minutes, and the next time is 10 minutes, and then you just add additional minutes on and on and on. And you do this to help increase the intervals so that your baby soon will develop how to self-soothe or put themselves back to sleep without you having to pick them up. So this one people kind of associate with the cry it out method, which it is and it's not. The cry it out method is a little bit more extreme, but yes. Then you have the wake and sleep method. I personally don't like this one because if she's knocked out, I'm not necessarily waking her up. But you have the wake and sleep method where it's described as you put your baby to sleep. Then after so many hours, you go in and you tickle your baby's feet or you touch your baby to lightly wake them up, let them know that you're here, mama's still here, I still love you, blah blah blah, and then you kind of soothe them back to sleep. So you have the wake and sleep method. And then you have the fading method, which this one is described as if you normally rock your baby, you got a rocking chair or a swing. If you normally rock your baby to sleep, you may each night you shorten the time that you shorten the amount of time you rock until you're rocking your baby to sleep, until it's at a few minutes or so. So those are the different sleep training methods. Like I said, I was not going to go into detail on each one and how they work because we could be here for a while. And I didn't really want to make this a long video. Didn't want to bore you all too much. So yeah, that's actually 5 methods. There's a 6th one that I'm missing. I'm sorry. I will put it in the link below. Pregnancy brain. But yes, so like I said, sleep training is in place to put your infant, your baby, on a sleep schedule that not only benefits them, benefits you as well, and benefits others that will be watching the baby. So they have a schedule like baby is to eat. Excuse me. Baby is to eat here, 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 here. Lay him or her down at this time for nighttime, and then this is how this works. And it also works out for dad too as well, to help along with the sleep training as well. But we have decided that we will be doing sleep training. Like I said, I'm not going to start as early as newborn. I'm not going to start that early, but I plan on starting like around 2 or 3 months, preferably two months, because I get 3 months of maternity leave, and I definitely want her to be sleep trained by the time I go back to work. And then 2 months is also enough time for me to get accustomed to breastfeeding her as well. If we have a successful breastfeeding, I hope we do. You guys, please pray for us. I really want to breastfeed at least for 6 months. That is my goal, to definitely breastfeed that long. So yes, like I said, we have decided to sleep train starting at 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months with Miss Nova. It does work. I've heard 3 personal testimonies of sleep training work. Those moms started around 2 or 3 months as well. There are going to be negative Nancy's. They're going to say, that's impossible. You can't do that. Babies this, babies that, babies cry, babies da-da-da-da. You're going to have these lists of things of why you can't sleep train. And I'm not saying that pediatricians know it all, but there have been a grand amount of pediatricians that have testified that sleep training is a proven study that does work. And pediatricians specialize in kids. So yes, I'm gonna listen to a pediatrician before I just listen to someone who does not even know what sleep training is. Because you'll have those people who you'll explain it to and they'll be like, that doesn't work. Now, I definitely respect the opinions of those that have attempted and tried it, and they were just like, it wasn't successful for them. And it really just depends on your lifestyle, like your lifestyle, your home lifestyle, your schedule. Some people just aren't able to sleep train, and that's okay. And it's okay if you're not able to sleep train as early as 2 or 3 months. There have been some stories out there that moms that later sleep train 6+ months, you know? So it's never too late. Sometimes it's a little bit harder the later that they get in age, but don't be discouraged by the negative Nancy's. If you are set on sleep train your baby. Sleep train your baby. Another thing that you can also do is, like I said, talk to your pediatrician. If you're having difficulties or you're not sure which method works best for you or what you may feel more comfortable with, talk to your pediatrician. They may have slept training their child. I know we have to do a meet and greet with the pediatrician that we're looking to go to, but that's one of the things that I'm going to discuss and talk to them about and ask them, have they themselves done sleep training or know any moms or tips when it comes to sleep training as well. And another option as well, if your pediatrician has not, there are sleep training consultants out there, and they don't have to be accessible. They have virtual sleep training consultants. I watched a video of a mom who did sleep training, and her husband hired a sleep training consultant who was virtual. They would Skype her, video chat, whatever type of method that they use, and she helped them sleep train their baby. I'll actually share her link below as well, because I believe in her video she shared the contact information to the consultant that they use. So those are options as well. Don't ever give up. Make your life easy, okay? Make your life easy if possible. And the good thing about sleep training is that it literally Like I said, this all depends on your lifestyle, your home style, how consistent you are. It could take anywhere from a week to a month to successfully sleep train your baby. If you want to be realistic with yourself and say 2 weeks, say if I could be consistent with this for 2 weeks to get my baby on the sleep pattern and a sleep schedule, sign me up. So I'm definitely with that. If I just have to dedicate 2 weeks to successfully being consistent with putting my child to sleep and soothing her to sleep and getting her to self-soothe, I am all for it. Sign me up. So, yes, that is everything I have to share when it comes to sleep training. So we will definitely be sleep training, like I said, starting at about 2 months. So she's all set to go before I have to go back to work for my maternity leave. The book that I, like I said, read is called The Newborn Sleep Book by the Jassies, Dr. Jassies. They're two pediatrician doctors. I will put the name of this book and the link below in the description. There is also another book that my friend told me about. I do apologize, you guys. I did not write it down and I cannot remember the name of the book. And it is in my cell phone, which is not near me right now. But I'm going to put that link below to that book because I've known 2 other people who have read that book and have liked that book as well. Yes, so I will share all of my resources, and I hope that helped give a little insight on what sleep training is and how beneficial it is going to be to your baby and yourself, because like I said, make your job easy and you deserve sleep. Don't think that you have to be accustomed to a crying baby waking you up or waking up throughout the night every single day for the next 4 or however many months it could go on. You could sleep train your baby. There are success stories out there. Remember, don't let the negative Nancy's deter you. But yes, that wraps up my video on sleep training. Tune in to my next video as I share my 36-week checkup. I went to the doctor today and we did a 36-week checkup. So that will just be a little short video. So be sure to tune in on the next video on my 36-week doctor checkup. Again, thank you for tuning in to Dope First Moms, and make sure you watch the last video and subscribe.